Coco.
What's up, everybody? This is Kenny Cummins here of Chilling with Kenny C right here on TMVcafe.com, bringing you entertainment to your ears. Hope everybody's enjoying this week, man. We're getting to the spring season. Thank goodness, because this cold weather is on one, and I can't wait
Big
for
Brick.
I can't wait any longer. Speaking of waiting, my guest, man, he's had a busy day. A busy couple of days, as a matter of fact. He's a hip hop artist out of originally from New York, currently residing in Louisville, Kentucky. And as you can tell in his hoodie, he's representing the Creative Natives label. Shout out to Emil and
Creative.com.
Q. Shout out to the whole label. This man, just a little over a year ago, joined forces with Q, put out that ghetto gospel. This time, see, that's that pastor's son in me. So I had to put that out there. But this
Mhm.
time, this is his solo release is coming out very soon. It's called The Invisible Spit Kicker 3. It is coming. The wait is almost over. And to chat with me at this time goes by the name of Furious Floyd. What's good, man?
Hey man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm living life, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like living life for real, like is the big thing. Like, I've been making music, I've been, working on the label thing and running the label and doing all that stuff. But like the most important thing is I've really been like living really well lately. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of thing where it's just, I've been chilling a lot with my family and, my wife and my kid and, you know what I'm saying? And like being more in touch with my family back home and really just been in a really, really good space for real. You know what I'm saying? And I have this album that I'm absolutely in love with. So, I'm excited. I'm very excited that this is finally coming out. Very excited.
I'm excited as well. That's one thing I know about Floyd, especially on Facebook in particular. He's been like letting people know, yo, man, it's coming. It's coming. You're gonna love it. You're gonna walk with it. You're gonna enjoy it. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel some kind of way about it. And if you've been following the series of this project, the Invisible Spit Kicker series, you're gonna
Mhm.
walk with it. So you got
Yeah.
R and Breezy on there, you got some collaborations on there. You got
Yeah.
Q, you even got a Grammy Award winning producer on there.
I have a
So
Grammy Award winning producer on my album twice,
yes,
two
twice.
times. Shout out to Jans.
Shout
You
out
know
to
what I'm saying?
Yas,
Like, yeah,
man. Yeah. You know him a lot longer
yeah, man.
than I have. But this is a guy that's beloved. As far as Louisville, Kentuckiana area. So I'm just gonna start out with this, man. Like as far as his involvement with the project, he got a couple of beats on there. Um, from what's it like, man? Just continue this working relationship with him, and just it feels like he's getting his flowers for everything he's done and everything he's contributed to the game. He's a well-minded dude and passionate of his craft, and when I saw that he won the Grammy, I was ecstatic, very, very excited. It felt good, man. Like someone from our neck of the woods is a Grammy Award winner, man. And shout out to Lecrae and Tasha, because that song was dope with them
Yeah,
two. So,
sure.
but talk about Jans, man. As far as you know him a lot longer than I have. Was it like knowing him for all these years and seeing him getting that Grammy, man? What was it like
Yeah.
just seeing
It's
his?
beautiful. It's beautiful, dog. Cause like Jan's been that dude for like forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember back in the day, the first time I ever met Jans was when we were doing the Smash the Mic series. When Tay All Day was running Smash the Mic at a Spinelli's downtown on Fifth Street before it closed down. And we used to do that every week, and we frequented it. And I remember we got off a stage one time, and Jans walked up to me. And back in the day, Jans's name used to be Eons D instead of Jans.
Yeah.
Like he's still Eons D in my phone. And he kind of walked up to me. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm new to the city. I'm from Florida. I just got here. I live over in Indiana. I was looking to do some stuff, blah, 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 blah. You're pretty dope. You know what I mean? Do you know anybody around here, or would I be able to perform here?" And we like, yeah. Like, of course, you know what I'm saying? Not knowing that Jans is fucking Jans, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, this
Yeah.
is like, because people walked up all the time and was like, yeah, let's see what's going on. And like, dude, Jans is not only one of the better producers, like, I've ever heard, but also one of the better rappers I've ever heard. And Jans has really leaned more into the production lately, than the rapping. But Jans is right there with me and with everybody on our label in terms of like spitting. Like he can rap his ass off, and like it's beautiful to see Jans get those flowers because a lot of times, and I can speak for this personally, not even really speaking for him. I can't speak for him, but it's like niggas been grinding for a long ass time, bro. Like I've been in Louisville for 10 years and I've been rapping for like 5 years prior to that. And I've been all up and down here. I've rapped in every big venue in the city. I've, helped, do a lot of stuff, and like a lot of like rappers, I watched them kind of come up and like, gave them tips here and there, and how they could do this or do that, or tried to help people, and really been grinding for forever. Like I moved here from a city, from Long Island, New York, into a city that I wasn't from, that I didn't know anybody from. And the way I really built my stuff up is just by going out here and crushing whatever was available to me. You know what I'm saying? So for somebody like Jans, who has been doing this thing for forever, hasn't put out a lot of albums, but every album has been like A1, triple A excellent. And to see him get that recognition is dope, especially because like he always deserved that recognition. And I think there's a lot of people in this city that always deserve that recognition in kind, the same way that Jans does. It takes a lot of times, unfortunately, it takes you doing something where the rest of the world recognizes that you're good or that you're excellent before people will really buy in and kind of give you that acknowledgement, because it's not like people always say it's a Louisville thing, like Louisville doesn't support their own. No, this is a culture thing. This is everywhere. It was like that when I was in New York. It's like that everywhere. It's like until people that they respect you, it's hard for people to give you that level of respect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and a Grammy is like instantly puts people on notice to say, yo, like I'm one of the best producers in the world. Like I won the biggest producer title in like award in the world. So it's amazing to see him get that, and congratulations to Jans. You know what I mean? It's awesome that he got that. You know what I mean? I'm just, blessed that I'm able to have two of his beats on my album, but I have been on Jans before that. One of the beats of the two beats is literally something I got off his beat tape that anybody could have gotten. You know what I'm saying? Like, like it's like he's been out here putting out this stuff, like, and it's like, now it's good to see people really buying into the idea that Jans is as good as he is. And that's
Yeah.
awesome. And hopefully a lot of other artists around this way, will be able to get that same recognition. Maybe not same, because we ain't win a Grammy, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
in terms of like, please take notice, those who are listening, especially those in Louisville, that like you have artists and producers of that caliber in your city right now. And just because they haven't hit number one on the Billboard chart or haven't, sold a million records, doesn't mean that you don't have some of the absolute best artists in this nation around the corner from you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's harder to give it to people that live around the corner than somebody from somewhere else that you don't know personally like that. So shout out to Jans. Much love,
Yes.
much respect. And thank you for letting me use these beats, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate it. I know that today's price is not yesterday's price, bro. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Joe
So
said it
shout
best.
out to Jan. You know what I
Fat
mean? Like
Joe. Yeah.
big shout out.
Yeah. Fat Joe said it best. Yesterday's price is not today's price. So if you haven't
Man,
gotten a Jan's beat for some apparent reason, you better do it now because yeah, this
price is
just
only gonna
saying
go up from here, bro.
it's gonna.
Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if he wins another Grammy at some point. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
man.
So Yeah.
Props to him. Shout out to the Space Campaign. Shout out to Jordan Jetson, the whole crew out
Yeah,
there.
Jetson.
So a lot of talented artists. And as a Lexington guy, I seen this for 7, 8 years now. I seen what y'all have
Mm,
done and the grind that y'all put out. And I've seen it in person. Like I was there for Ghetto Gospel Release show last year,
yeah. Thank you for
and
coming out. I appreciate it.
that was one of the moments of my year. And so that was a special moment, a special night. So the Invisible Spit Kicker 3. This is a trilogy.
Yep.
We're gonna use the movie terms here because you got your
Yeah.
original, you got the sequel, and now you got the trilogy. So,
Mm.
how you feeling with everything that you put into this record? And you said before I hit the record button, like this is a lot of emphasis. What I admire about you is you put a lot of emphasis in your music, whether you rapping or whether you put things in context, or whether personal things that you've been through and things like that. Like you really put your heart and soul into this music, man, and it needs to be appreciated, man. So, but what's it? How you feeling, man? Like getting closer and closer
Man,
to this
I
release.
I am feeling spectacular, bro. And normally around this time, I would be feeling like nervous. You know what I'm saying? Because you always want people to respond well to your music. Um, but this album has been sent to a couple of people, not a crazy amount of people, but like, my close friends and family, the people on the label, um, people that are either doing like album reviews or that are like having me on their radio shows like you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and the response that I've gotten for the album has been like overwhelmingly positive. Like it's really helped with my personal confidence with like I always have confidence. I feel like at the end of the day, I take things like Rick Rubin said, like when you make music, that you make it and you ignore the audience entirely. Like you're not making the album for them, you're making it for you. And if somebody doesn't like it, they don't like it. He's like, it's like writing a diary entry. Like if somebody doesn't like your diary entry, what does that mean to you? Nothing. It's your diary entry. It's how you felt. It's not there for them to appreciate or agree with. So like my albums are like a diary entry, and this is kind of like a diary entry from basically the beginning of COVID up until now. And everyone who's listened to this album so far has told me that it's an incredible album, that it's amazing, that it's, really well thought out and it touches on everything that we're going through and it's not sad or like a downer or anything like that. It's just a really dope, like the best compliment that I've gotten for it is that it reminds them of the classic albums that we grew up on. You know what I mean? Like it has that feel of an album. Like when you first put it on and you listen to it, like years from now, you're gonna remember where you were and when you heard this album. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I heard Lupe Fiasco Food and Liquor. It was my 20th birthday, and I worked at Best Buy, and I drove to work on my day off to buy the album, and then was sitting and listening to it in my car. And I always remember that day because that's one of my favorite albums. And it's like somebody told me that it gives him that feeling. You know what I mean? So it's amazing, bro. And I'm just excited, yo. At this point, I'm not tripping over it or nothing. I'm just kind of at a point where it's like it is what it is. It's done. I can't make no more changes. You know what I mean? Because I labor over like track listing, and like I had Dom go in and take a song and add like a half a second of silence to the end of the song so that leading into the next song it wasn't too abrupt. Like I'm that like cerebral with it. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like so it's like I'm just excited. I'm finally at the point where people are gonna hear it, and I just like it's just beautiful. It's beautiful to be in this position right now to just watch it unfold. And it'll unfold how it does. Maybe people think it's as great of an album as most people that have heard it has said it is. Maybe people don't listen to it at all. I'm at this point, I know that I made a classic hip hop album. I made a really groundbreaking classic piece of work. And knowing that, all I can be is excited. You know what I mean? Like I can't feel any kind of negative way about it because at the end of the day, like I know what I have my hands on, and whether people agree with that or not is up to the fucking universe. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm very optimistic. I'll say that.
So as a hip hop head myself, like when I
Mm,
look forward to a release, I there's some people that when I hear somebody's releasing an album, like I'm gonna be glued to that person regardless, because I know what to expect. I know what to I know what to expect from that person. Like a
mm,
Jay, like a Nas, like a Biggie or a Pac in his primes, or M or so forth. But
mm,
then when I put you in that category because I know when I hear Furious Floyd or Pronoun once upon a time, when I
mm,
hear that you putting out an album, I'm gonna be glued to it because I know you're gonna say something that's insightful. I know you're gonna say something that's that's gonna make people think, very provoking. Say something that oh, hold on, let me run that back. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like
yeah,
I grew up listening to hip hop 90s. I started listening to hip hop in the 90s. And that was quite a
same.
decade. That was a decade that I cherish because 90s in general was just brilliant. But the hip hop back then, raw, uncut, just thought provoking shit. That was
Mm-hmm.
what I listened to growing
And
up.
they meant what the fuck they said. They meant
Yeah,
what they said. They wasn't out here just saying shit to be popular or to sell records. They were
yeah,
speaking their personal truth. And like people can tell, like authenticity is undeniable. You can tell when somebody really means what the fuck they're saying, or if they're
yeah,
just saying some shit to get you to buy in. And I think we've gotten so much of the latter where people just say shit that that's become the standard. So I think it's even more of a jarring thing when you can tell. You know what I mean? Like, I think as much as people say, oh, people just do whatever and, rap is blah, 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 and people out here lying and they not. I think that when you really come with some real authenticity, that
yeah,
you even have like a higher advantage and edge nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
yeah.
And then, a prime example, a guy like Killer Mike, going back to the Grammys, a dude that I've been listening to since the whole world by Outkast. And
Facts.
he's been the same dude all along. He stayed true to himself. He stood in
Hmm.
his lane. He didn't change for anybody or anything. He looked at everybody and said, "This is who I am." Wonder Jules has had a good one. He puts out Michael just last year, and then
Yeah.
he swept the hip hop slash rap category at the Grammys. He did that,
Facts.
and
And,
just
and the crazy thing is him being able to do that at 45 kind of puts to bed the idea that there's a certain age that you should stop rapping.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like that's put to bed. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I don't I don't I don't let me say this to everybody out there who's watching. I
yeah,
don't want to hear you saying shit to me about how I'm late 30s and I'm too old to be rapping. I'm nice, nigga. Like I'm you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like fuck what you talking about. Like, I'm nice, and this shit is not athletics, bro. This ain't basketball. I'm not gonna turn 38 and 39 and all of a sudden not be able to put up 30 points a game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it comes down to in this because it's a mental based art and a mental skill. The sport is all mental, like, and it's not physical, bro. I could be this nice at 60 or 70 if my fucking mind don't start slipping. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no real, all you can do is continuously get better at this shit the older that you get if you stay continuing trying to improve. And the one thing I've really like focused on ever since I started was I constantly want to get better. Like I constantly want to get better. Like that's the thing. The art comes first. Like if it's not impressive to me, then it's not impressive enough for me to give to you. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm staying with that like mind state all of this time, then like it would stand to reason that at 37 I'd be making better music than when I was fucking 21 starting out.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like so it's like it's beautiful to see somebody like Killer Mike win the Grammy and be 45. And you had a lot of young people saying, how did Travis not win? How did this not win? Blah, 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 blah. But it's like, okay, I understand you and I understand your perspective because they spit more stuff that's in your, lane in your age group and the things you're into now. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean he's not deserving of that win. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much anybody who's a hip hop head that listens to everything, and I listen to everything, including Travis Scott and all of that, Killer Mike deserved it. You know what I mean? The Grammys got it right this year. Then they
Yeah.
don't always get it right. You know
No,
what I'm
hell
saying?
no.
Not at all. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
Macklemore win still exists. Kendrick got robbed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, like so it's
Yeah.
it's it's dope to see that. And it's like hip hop isn't that old of an art, If you look at like other arts, country and rock music and, fucking singing ballads and all this shit has existed. Jazz shit has existed for almost 100 years, a lot of this shit. You know what I mean? Or 70, 80 years. If hip hop's 50 years old, we just hadn't gotten to a point where we had 50-year-old rappers like that were still relevant. Like we're just getting that now, where you got a Jay-Z and you got a Nas and you got a Killer Mike and you got people like that are in their late 40s, early 50s that are still capable of rapping and being able to rap at a level that's current. You know what I'm saying? We just got here. So like to be like, oh, you're too old to rap. It's like, nah, that's some shit from back in the 90s when rap wasn't, people were saying that because rappers in the 80s didn't rap as many words per minute and the styles and the flows were felt antiquated. You know what I mean? It felt old school. And the chicken tastes like wood. And then you got somebody like Nas. You know what I'm saying? It's like it didn't feel like it felt like, oh, you're too old. You got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like it's not the case. It's actually going in the reverse. People are going a lot more simple with the rhymes now than they did in the heyday of a lot of these guys that are legends now. So it's like that qualification of you're too old to do this. Like it's almost like the older you are, the better you probably are at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, and it's
Yes, it
like, you
is.
know, so
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
it's wild.
You get old, you get wiser. That's kind of the thing, like in life. Like you go through
Yeah,
your youth being wild and being jumpy and things like that. But then when you get to your 30s and 40s and whatnot, you gotta learn to
mm,
adapt. Most of the artists in their 40s and 50s have been able to adapt and while still keeping their authenticity intact and still
mm,
provide the music that their core listeners can rock with. We're in 2024 and people still saying the age isn't with hip hop. It's just like give me a break. Like hip hop,
yeah,
it's like you said, it's a mental art. And as long as you can rap, as long as you still got the passion, you keep going. Ain't nobody telling 50, 60, 70-year-old singers to stop. They still can go
mm,
as long as you sing well or hit some
exactly,
elements. As long as you still got that passion is gonna take people far. Especially in your older years. It just shows that you want it more. You want it just as hard as you did in your 20s and 30s. It's not the end of the
exactly.
world. It's not the end of the world when you get old. You just have to adapt. You just have to find other ways to strive. So,
Yeah,
um,
you just
yeah,
have to rap about what it's like to be late 30s, early 40s,
yeah,
and living your life. Like that's the thing. Like on this album, it's like, yo, I got a song on there about my wife. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
about like the first verse is about me being on one of my first dates with my wife and when we first really kind of got together and became a thing. And then the second verse is about our fucking wedding day. I may be wrong and correct me if I'm wrong. I hope somebody has the answer to this, but I can't think of any rap song where a rapper talked about their wife. A lot of rappers talk about, oh, they're shorty and their main bitch, or this is my wifey or whatever. But like talking about like, nah, this is about my wife. Let me talk about my wedding day. Like I can't think of any rapper that rapped about their wedding day except for maybe like International Players Club. But even that was like, kind of more of a concept album, a concept song than like it wasn't like any of them were actively getting married that day or
yeah,
are married. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then maybe like Little Brother when when Fonte was talking about your Dominican house and your Dominican wife. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like a lot of times it's like people don't talk about things like that. It's like there are rappers famous rappers, and I ain't really gonna name them, but there are rappers that everybody knows and loves that have been married since they came out 20 years ago, and you never heard a song about their wife. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm rapping about things like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm rapping about how dangerous it is out here in the city and how that shit feels. You know what I'm saying? How it feels when somebody gets shot up around the corner from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the things you kind of go through with that. You know what I mean? Like I got songs about I got a song that essentially is about the protests. And I didn't write about the protests. I write about how I felt about us getting shot dead in the streets and shit like that, like a couple months before the protests, and then the protests happened. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like I got a song, the outro is literally me justifying and explaining why I wrote this particular album and why like talking about the shit that we talk about has merit and that you can tell your story and we should tell our stories. You know what I'm saying? Like don't take literary lessons from lackluster lyricists. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like for real. You know, and it's like I enjoy being able to put a part of myself into this album because I've always maintained the idea that 70-80% of people that listen to hip hop live a lot more like me than like a famous rapper that's iced out, that's at the fucking front seat of the basketball game every pull up and, got these people. Like in reality, we got jobs and families and car payments and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like people live like me. So why the fuck wouldn't I tell my own story and expect people not to be able to relate to it? Of course they'll be able to relate to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But you have to, right, you can't just be out here saying shit and then expect that everybody is just gonna love it because oops, and expect that everybody's just gonna love it because like, oh, I'm saying something real and these people ain't saying nothing real. So like no, nigga, it's gotta be good too. It's gotta be interesting. Like you can't
Yes.
just be out here just talking about how real you are and then expect everybody to fall in love with your music. Like it's gotta be dope. The beats gotta be dope. Your flow's gotta be dope. You gotta be saying something interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be in the chicken tastes like wood. It's not gonna work. You know, I'm not trying to shit on Sugar Hill Gang, but just like it's an example. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
gotta actually be saying something, and for real, it's gotta be potent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have a little bit of a handicap when you're more of a conscious rapper or more a rapper talking about your real life, where it's like you gotta make it interesting. It's not that your real life isn't interesting, but the devil's in the details. You gotta give them enough details to walk with you through your fucking life
Yeah.
instead of
Absolutely.
just saying like, oh, struggling to pay bills. Like, no, extrapolate on that shit. What bills? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Well.
fucking your car notes up, this, that. You know what I mean? Like, explain that shit a little bit better so people can connect with you. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of times people don't do that. They take for granted that because talking about my real life, that everyone should just love it. Like, no, like you have to, if you, if you're, Rakim said that writing a rhyme, he said this to his son, and he said writing a rhyme is like writing a book report. You know what I'm saying? I know one of Rakim's sons, Illy. He I don't know if he still raps, but he actually moved down the street from us when I lived in Long Island. And it's actually like one of Rakim's sons. Like Rakim is from Long Island. And he has a song with my brother on his album from way back in the day, Floss Life. Go check out Floss Life. But he said that Rakim told him, and it was something that ended up getting put in an article somewhere, that writing a rhyme is like writing a book report. The same things you would put in a book report to make the story interesting when you're explaining a story is the same things that make a rhyme interesting. So if you want to learn how to rhyme, learn how to write a good book report. And like this album is the book report of the last like 4 years of my life, So,
The
and I aced
invisible.
English. So
Yeah. The invisible spit kicker 3 from Furious Floyd. It is
yeah,
coming. Great chatting with you, Floyd.
yep,
If you've been
likewise.
you've had a busy day of interviews and everything, so I appreciate you
Yeah,
taking the time and you
yeah,
repping the label. So just continue, man. Congrats on everything. Congrats on this project, and I look forward to for everybody else to listen to the Invisible Spit
yeah.
Kicker 3. Well,
Me
great
too.
chatting with you. You enjoy the rest of your night. You enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks again for your time, brother.
Yep, thank you. Oh, can I say something real
Yeah.
quick?
Go ahead.
Just
Go
cause
ahead.
before we got on air, we were talking about Golden Goose, the interlude from the album. And he was
Yes.
telling me about like how he loves the interlude on the album. Believe it or not, that was supposed to be a native song. That was supposed to be a song that was me and Dom and Ramel and Q Mystic. We're all supposed to get on it. And I wrote to it and I sent it to them. And it's the first song I've ever made where the crew was like, nah, you good. That's you. And I was like, well, I wrote this so that everybody could jump on. You know, we got more room, you know, jump on. I'm like, nah, you good. It don't need nothing else. And they told me like it doesn't need anything else. And all of them individually told me like, no, like I could write a rhyme to this. It would be dope, but like this is your song. So just keep it. And then it ended up being the interlude on the album. I cut a little lyric video for it online to like kind of kick off the promo for the album. And
Yeah.
people love that shit. So I didn't even know that song would be that. I didn't think nothing of the verse until everybody started telling me how dope it was. So yeah. But you know, we didn't talk about the album that much, so I figured I'd throw them a little tidbit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest
What?
interlude verses I've ever heard. Like,
Hey,
and I'm
I
so
agree.
glad you did the video for it. I'm glad you know that your label mates say, "Hey, this is yours, man." So thanks,
Shit, I
man.
wish they jumped on it, but it was like, nah. Like, all right, bro.
All right, you take it easy, man. Thanks again.
Thank you, Kenny, as always. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. Peace. All right.
Peace. Much love.
All right.